Now after this, black can continue with e6, strengthening the pawn structure, but here Petrosian decides to develop his knight to e6, which also keeps an eye towards this d5 pawn. Here you can see that now white is preparing for bishop to g2. Now here white have multiple options like to just castle or to bring his knight to c4, targeting this undefended e5 pawn. Or white can also play h4, which opens the h3 square for this bishop, or white can just simply push a4, expanding towards the queen side. But in the actual game, Fischer decides to just simply castle short side. And now the best move for black is to just castle, but Petrosian has some another plans. Instead of castling, he instantly pushed g5, directly attacking towards the king side, and in the next move, he will definitely push h5. So that's why to stop this, here Fischer immediately placed his knight to f3, attacking this g5 pawn, and to defend this, h6 by Petrosian. Now here you can see that capturing with the c pawn will opens the c file for this rook. So that's why simply he captured with the e pawn. But guys, instead of king to b8, here black can also consider this amazing move c4. This is because suppose if he takes, now comes knight at d goes to e5, asking for knight exchange. But why? This is because after takes, now black wants to bring his queen to f6, so so that he can give a check from f3 square. Okay, so let me show you. Suppose if white brings his rook to c1, simply queen to f6. Now black is threatening to play knight to f3, and to stop this, suppose if white pushed f3, now black can play d3. And some of you might be thinking that what's the point of playing this move d3? First of all, the main idea is to just advance this pawn, but no, you are wrong. The main idea is, let me show you. Suppose if white gives a check by his bishop, then simply king to b8. And since this f3 pawn is undefended, so to defend this, white is forced to bring back his bishop to g2. But now comes rook to d4. Now the whole point of this move d3 is to bring this rook to d4. Now since this c4 pawn is attacked, so to defend this, suppose if white just push this pawn, black can bring his other rook into the game, making a battery, and in the next move, black will simply place his knight to c4, targeting this queen. And now you can see that white pieces are covered in a fear. And suppose if white is not careful and he just decides to march his pawn, then knight to c4, attacking this queen, black will move according to his plan. And if queen to b4, d2, and clearly you can see that white is gone. Okay, so in the actual game, after king to b8, but guys, this knight on c6 is important for black because it keeps an eye towards this b4 pawn, and exchanging it is not a good decision by black. Instead, he must consider g4, attacking this knight. Okay, yeah, so this move g4 he must consider because this will attack this knight. And after this, takes, queen takes. And in the next move, here he brings his rook to c4. Maybe he wants to double his rook so that he can target this weak c5 pawn. Here instead of a4, white must consider capturing on c5 because by this you can see that this b file gets opened, and by this white can easily attack the black king. Now again white must consider capturing on c5, but instead Fischer blunders by rook to b1. This is because now Petrosian immediately brings his knight to e5, attacking this rook. Okay, so basically black wants to bring his knight to c3 so that he can push this pawn, as well as he can also attack this rook. But instead of this move, here black must consider this amazing move, rook to d3, attacking this queen. And suppose after this queen moves supposed to e2, now comes a5, and clearly you can see that in the next move black will slowly push this a pawn and win the game. Okay, so in the actual game, after knight to a4, but instead he must consider rook to a1 so that he can target this, as well as you can see that this queen is also attacking on this a7 square. But in this position, black can place his knight to b2 so that he can deflect this rook and promote his d pawn. clearly you can see that here white wants to give a check from b8 square, so that's why here Petrosian simply bring back his queen to d8, attacking this queen. And in this position, Bobby Fischer resigned. This is because now you can see that White cannot stop this promotion. Suppose if White brings his queen to c3 so that he can stop this promotion, but this will simply not gonna work because Black will simply capture this rook first, trying to deflect this queen so that he can promote. But if queen to a1, queen to d4, and you can see that now this queen is gone, and yeah, game over for White. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.